What's up, guys? Wolfgang back with another Dorkfish review, and today we are looking at the Jazware Avatar The Last Airbender Aang figure. Guys, let's get into it. Inspired by the extremely popular cartoon and the books before it, this character comes from a very rich world and very interesting and awe-inspiring story. Now, I will point out that this version, according to the box, is from chapter or book 3. This, as far as I can tell, is the first release or the first wave of the toy line. This one and then Zuko. But it is interesting if that's the case because this is book 3 Aang. And Zuko is book 3 Zuko. So I'm kind of intrigued as to why they would have started there. But that's neither here nor there. What we're going to discuss right now is the figure. So as always, we're going to start with the box and accessories. Alright, and for the box, you've got a nice open window. You've got Avatar The Last Airbender and Nickelodeon on the front, as well as it saying has 8 pieces with it, and it being Aang from book 3. So you've got a little product shot on the side. You've got a nice window up top. You've got some product shots here, as well as the other one in the line, which is Zuko. Again, I think these are the only 2 in the line, and that is it. That's all there is to the boxes. So that being said, we're going to move on to the accessories. All right, and for accessories, we've got a mix of things: 2 heads and 3 sets of hands and a couple accessory pieces. So the head that's on him now does come on him in package. The 2 hands that he has on now, I pegged onto him. He has obviously those open hands. He has 2 kind of grabbing hands right here that the arrow is painted on. Let me get this focused for you. Ooh, if it'll focus. There we go. So 2 grabbing hands. Both of them have the arrows pointed on, or painted on, I'm sorry. They're done well enough. You've got 2 fist hands that come on him in package. Same thing, the arrow painted throughout. Focus back on him. He has an additional head, this fun-loving, smiling head of his. Looks great. Let me just focus in on that. Very well painted, well sculpted. Looks good. And then he's got this, which is his staff. That also doubles as his flight piece, but there's no flight accessories attached to it. And then he has this. I believe because of the book it's a water effect, not an air effect. I think. Someone correct me down below, but this looks like the water effects from the cartoon, not the air. Although he's the airbender, so maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm right and it is a water piece and he should have came with the air effect. So let me focus back on him and let's talk about the accessories right quick. So here's the thing. Price-wise, he is not super expensive. So I am happy with what we get for the price. But this is where I'm going to get into, and I'll say this probably throughout the video. I would have been okay with them charging another 10 bucks or so, 8 to 10 bucks, and giving us a few more things. I'm okay with what we got, but I think an extra head with the Avatar State face on it. The staff part has pieces that turn it into the flying post that he uses. So like that would have been cool. And the effect is kind of, it leaves a lot to be desired. I would love for them to have done the little air ball that he sits and floats on instead of that piece. That being said, what we get is good. It's just, it could be better. But again, it's not an extremely expensive figure. So also judging off of that, you do get good stuff with it. It is fair. So accessory-wise, we're moving along. Let's talk about aesthetics. Moving into aesthetics, I think they did a pretty good job. Paint-wise, everything seems to be pretty spot on, except for maybe this eye might be a touch off. But otherwise, everything is painted well. The lines in the boots, the arrows all the way around the arms and body. They even got right from this area the burn on the spine. Aesthetically, he looks pretty good. There's a few things articulation wise. Obviously, he's a somewhat cheaper figure, kind of in the veins of Marvel Legends, so the joints can get a little ugly with certain movements. I'm not particularly certain as to why exactly they did the knees the way they did. It kind of leaves a little bit to desire, but see how ugly that can get. But otherwise, for the most part, I think they did a really good job. I do like the cloth aspect up here because you've got that torso articulation, so it doesn't hinder it. So aesthetically, I don't think it's super bad. It doesn't throw it all the way off, so I don't hate it. So yeah, aesthetic-wise, he's a pretty good figure. I think for his price point, they did a good job. That being said, let's check out how he articulates. All right, and for articulation, he actually has a pretty good amount, more akin to, or just a touch more maybe even than most Marvel Legends. So you see, obviously, I got him in a stance here. His head is on a ball hinge and peg. So you see he's got the hinge there, the ball peg and hinge. So he can look up pretty dang far. According to the neck, he can look down a decent amount. I mean, turning is just fine. He's got attitude. Can't go super far to the side. No neck hinge. His shoulders can go up pretty far, better than T-pose, all the way around. He's got a butterfly in there, pretty hindered. Does a little bit, not a lot. Bicep swivel, just fine. Double jointed elbows, really ugly, but they do their job. Pin and hinge hand, no paint in the hinge there. For the torso, he has an actual torso cut, so he can crunch back really far, actually, surprisingly far. He can crunch forward pretty decently, so mixing it with the head down, he's got a good crunch. It's tough to tell with this on, but he can turn at that joint just fine. He can also turn, actually he can't really turn, oh, he can. Pop that right off, let me fix that. So I took his top layer off, which pops off pretty easy, to show you what just happened there. So again, you can see he can hinge in pretty forward and hinge back pretty far. And I like they carried that all the way down. There's definitely some gapping and some ball peg, but he moves pretty fine. A little bit of side to side there. Oh, so this is what happened. This is a very stiff joint that you can kind of use, but not a lot, and it can't really turn because of the plastic it's made of, so it's going to pop out every time. So really, your hinge here is going to be what really services your turning and your up and down, your movement like that, right? Your hips are kind of not great, or your waist, I should say, is not great. For hips, you do have a drop down. So obviously, full splits are pretty dang close. Thigh cut, as you can see. Double jointed knees, very ugly, but very effective. Can also kick your butt. No boot swivel, no ankle swivel. There's a rocker. He can go down that far, so pretty dang far. Can go up pretty dang far as well. And then an ankle pivot. So yeah, that is his articulation. For the most part, it's as good, if not in some cases a little better than most Marvel Legends for the price. Some things that are ugly, some of the joints. I do like the way his waist works, though. I think he's got a fantastic, or not waist, I'm sorry, his abdomen cut. I love his abdomen cut. I think it's got really good articulation. It's a little gappy, but for the price point, pretty good. The worst parts, or the most offensive parts, are his elbows and his knees. And then the fact that he can't turn at the hip or waist joint, that's pretty bad. So those are some things that, you trade the good and bad with. Again, this is a $17 figure, so to be honest, it's not horrible for 17 bucks. Something aesthetically I didn't notice until now, and I don't know if you can really tell. I think you kind of can. The plastic for the chest is completely different from the arms, and the waist area, or not waist, but well, yeah, the abs. So a little bit different in aesthetics, and the head. All this seems to match. That seems to be a little pinker. So, but getting back to articulation, he moves well enough for what he is. Could there be some things a little better? Probably. But overall, you're going to get him in pretty good poses, I think. I feel like I have gotten him in pretty good poses off camera. So, yeah, I think it's fine. So with all that being said about articulation, now it's time to get into size comparisons. All right, and here is Aang next to the MK Classics Scorpion from McFarlane and the Jada Toys Street Fighters 2 Ryu. And it doesn't look bad next to either or. And next we have him next to a Marvel Legends Iceman, which is pretty dang transparent and looks good there. And then the 2003 Super 7 TMNT Leonardo. And I think he looks fine with both of those. I kind of like the scale there. All right, and final thoughts. There's things to like about it, and there's things not. I mean, ultimately, it is the best Airbender figure, in my opinion, out on the market for its scale and its price point. I would really like to see what someone like Mezco does with Aang. I know McFarlane did a run I wasn't too enthralled with, so I didn't even bother really messing with them for reviews. I will tell you, ultimately, for its price point, I think this is worth picking up. I do think it's a good figure, but I am spoiled with hiring figures that have a little bit better articulation, have a few other things nicer about them. One thing that I didn't bring up, because as I was posing it throughout the video, it kind of came to a head, is he has some standing issues because of certain joints, like the ankles being a little loose. He can't hold his effect up because his shoulder joint is too loose, so it has to post off the ground there. So there's some things that are not great about the figure, unfortunately, but there are things that I still do like about him. Overall, he's going to sit on my shelf and be my Avatar, my Aang figure, unless something better comes along sooner. Like I said, I'd love to see SH Figure Arts or Mezco or someone like that take a stab at him. But for now, this is my Aang. So I am going to suggest him. You can find him at big box retailers all over the place. Again, he's like 16 to 17 bucks, so I think he's worth it. And let me know in the comments down below who your favorite Avatar: The Last Airbender character is. That being said, thank you for supporting, watching, liking, and sharing, and subscribing. If you haven't, please do so. I'm bringing this review to an end. Thank you for watching. Wolfgang's out. Later.